Yeah. So what I wanted to talk about, because I'm starting. Yes, I was, hey, like I'm really on a mission, and then my throat has to come up with the. But I'm a little bit sore today. I'm like, I don't give a gug, right? We got work to do. I got work to do. I don't care if you rasp me. My quads are more sore than you today. You can lazy ass throat. Anyways, what I wanted to talk about was my relationship with Jesus. Okay, so if you ask my younger self, like, do you ever think that you could have a relationship with Jesus? Yes, as I'd been like, yes, I don't know, it's a bit far fetched, hey? It's a bit far fetched. Don't know, I'm intrigued. Why would you say such a thing, higher self? When my higher self speaks, I listen because I know she's speaking to me. It's like me going back to my younger self and saying, baby, you should really develop a relationship with Jesus. Who's talking to me? Then when I was thinking, I was just thinking about like Jesus today for some random reason. So when I first came to this incarnation with Jesus, I met him. I was in a very Catholic school, and in the Catholic school was super scary. Used to really praise Mary. Used to vibe with Mary. Mary used to be my like guardian angel. And I remember having to go to confession, and just to say, I used to walk into the confession room and be like, Jesus, what? I used to panic. What was I be sorry for? I'm 6. I'm a 6-year-old child. Where have I sinned? I used to walk in and I used to ask, what are you guys praying for forgiveness for? Because shit, man, I don't know, I was 6. How do you teach a 6-year-old? You should just say, oh man, I was just mean to my brother or something. I don't want to know what the other little kids were saying around me. Maybe the pastor was like, I know these kids are all innocent and shit. I'm sure the pastor sit there and heard some things out of a child's mouth. What are you sorry for? Yes, as I do so, man. The young minds are scary sometimes. No, and then I went to a new school because life was just like, yo, hey, move to the next dimension. And then I got like in tune with Jesus's energy. I was like, yo, like this energy is so chilled. In our previous school, it was like, yes, there's law and order. You have to have everything like this. If you don't say the prayer 3 times, you're gonna yes, I say the godly Lord will look down on you like. And then I mean, she's like, yeah, says Jesus, such a chill, okay. He's like, give a damn, eh? Like I can think whatever I want. He's very open minded. And then my next like spiritual phase, I don't know, I wasn't really into when I was in varsity. It wasn't really like spiritual. I just remember sitting and like being super judged by Christians. And like this is they made me feel shit. So it's why like I think I personally turned away from the Christian belief or whatever. Because I was like, yes, I say you're making me feel like if I don't go to church, God is gonna no. I mean, I've even had to like counsel a lot of people who aren't really in alignment with God, they're in alignment with learning about God. And I've heard like, like to shame people because they have a bit different ways of practicing religion or practicing their spirit or practicing their spirit is hectic. It's something like that a lot of people that have opened up to me say like, you know what, I found God better than when I was in the church because of toxic Christianity. And I think it's like why like sometimes I really think about, should I even go to church? I've been to church. I think I stay away from it because I found God in other places. God, maybe God's leading you out to church. God's leading me to the garden. God's leading me to a connection with Him. Wherever God is meant to guide you is meant to guide you. If God does not want me, last time I've been into a church, yes, I felt so judged. And I've spoken to a lot of people they're like, you very spiritual. Hey, oh, yeah, okay, so and they've had to tell me and open up to me about like, man, I don't read the Bible. Do you think God's angry? Yes, I'm like, yes, you don't really know God. Who's been teaching you about God? damn if you're reading your Bible or not. Yeah, it's cool. It's cool and nice to do that research, but like, I don't really think God cares if you're reading a Bible or whatever. I know God the Creator, if He wants you to hear something, He says He'll plant a Bible verse on the side of the road on a billboard for you to think about. Like, I don't know. I think some people can be a bit what we call like hectic in it, and like, I'm sure I'm like this. When they're just super passionate about it, that their passion like needs to spread onto everybody. I'm like that. I'm not gonna say that I'm all purity and shit. Like when I am passionate about it, yeah, it says everybody in the household gets a nice education for 6 months about my new favorite topic. My parents would make me laugh. They're like, he says, hey, never praised so much in my fucking life. I guess this man influencing. Yeah, I don't know. Then like obviously in the spiritual community, like there's different type of spiritual communities. Depends which one you go into. They speak a lot about Jesus and like how many there's, what do we call them, false prophets, and the reincarnation of Jesus. And it was like, did you come to that on a natural term basis, or did you take a little something to come to that realization? It's like, I'm sure the realizations you have when you're on alcohol aren't the purest. I don't know. I do judge the community. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna say such and say act like pretty perfect. Oh, I don't judge anyone. No. God prays for my discernment. God prays heavily for my discernment. And trust me, hey, a lot of people will come, oh, but you judging me. You don't know me. You don't know what the godly says to me about my judgment. That yes, I say I don't feel judged in your presence. Don't bring your shadow self here. I think last year is when, like, because they say when everybody comes to a renewal of Christ, I think it's a renewal of Christ, when like as a child they're taught and then they come back to it in their more maturity stage to come to terms with, okay, what do they actually think about it without people putting so much of their own insight onto you. Like, a lot of people have opened up about it when they're like, okay, I met Jesus again, from a different perspective, where like I didn't have to listen to what they told me Jesus was like. I had more freedom to build a relationship with Jesus. He came to me last year. I was in like a very low space, and I really connected with him. And I believe like there are so many fucking ascended masters, there's so many spirit guides, like other people are in like this false illusion that you have to connect with everyone, and to be honest, like not everyone's compatible with you. And it's like Jesus aligns with me because of his teachings. It's like it's like if you had to go to a school and you're like, okay, which is your favorite subject, which one do you want to study, I've fallen into that trap of like, like, oh, you have to like all the archangels, and I'm like, ooh, there's so many fucking archangels and I must go to every single fucking class. No. I've had to like practice the art of reduction because sometimes I get super overwhelmed. We live in a very abundant world. Like I don't know why people keep saying the affirmation, I am abundant. I'm like, yes, I mean, just look around you, how much fucking abundance there is. I'm actually looking for a reduction. It's too much in this world. It's too many people. It's too many. It's too much. I think what people are looking for, they I'm not really good at being the orthodox way of what people expect me to be. I'm like, yes, do you practice self-love affirmations? No, I don't. If it doesn't feel like a good saying, I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna practice in the mirror, I am abundant every day. I don't like to copycat. I don't like to feel things that don't feel true to me. Like, yes, I mean, I think it's just because I've come into tune with I've come into tune with like what real wisdom sounds like. So someone who's saying to me, yo, hey, there's a lot in my life, hey, sounds more real and authentic than someone that's saying, I am abundant, I am If people even ask me like, why don't you use crystals? I genuinely, I don't like jewelry. I really don't like jewelry. I have a very sensitive body, and I don't know, it's not for me. less is more for me. And sorry. So I don't know, my relationship with Jesus, I don't really like to share about it. I get super nervous about it because I'm aware of people's tendencies. The minute I say something that, yeah, but I wasn't taught that in school. Yeah, I know you weren't taught that in school, but I sit with Jesus every day and I talk to him a lot. And but when is it before Christ? 15C. I don't know what century Jesus was born in. I see. Of course, not BC, before Christ. BC. They had paparazzi too. They shared gossip on Jesus. Jesus was the thing. They shared gossip on his story. It's like celebrities when they post media about celebrities. Something really like, what level is that true? So I don't know. I don't really believe in like listening to everything that the Bible tells you. You know, and also the Bible applied for those years. I sometimes say the most stupid things like, okay, but where's the social media section in the Bible? No one, the, social media didn't exist back then. The Bible was giving guidance to people during that time. The Bible's saying nothing about what I must do with social media. The Bible doesn't take into account new futuristic things that we are now exploring. The Bible talks nothing about what you must do with your car. Because it didn't exist back then. The Bible can only take you so far with your relationship with God. It's one way to your journey with God, but it's not going to take you to the enlightenment or the pilgrimage that you meant to come to. So I don't know. I feel like, you know, like I struggle with Jesus. Jesus really makes his presence known, and maybe not everyone in their life. When I was younger, Jesus did not make his presence known to me. He was like, so I was just focusing on other things. You know, I think Jesus like trusts in that you will come to your own journey on how you're supposed to have with God, because I don't know. I think I've researched way further than what people tell you to research, you know. And like I believe that if you look in cultural and if you study theology, and anyone doesn't know what theology is, it's the study of religion. They speak about how about reincarnation, you know, and how Jesus was Satnanda in the Atlantean times and how he soul reincarnated. But you mentioned the word reincarnation in a strict or a very a less open-minded household. Yeah, you're gonna get the back. I was very lucky. I grew up in a family that was very open-minded about religions, and we all had different religion where they had diversity in our religion and our spiritual beliefs. Yeah, and then I don't know, I think I got super passionate about Jesus. Like I wanted to really know, like, okay, like, you know, is what they say true, or is like, you know, there was things that weren't actually open. It's like it would be like my story, you know. Not everyone knows exactly everything that's going on, but there's people things that I've posted publicly and all publicly that people share along the the grapevines. You know, so I don't know. I'm sure there's stuff about Jesus's life. That's why there's so many people that are still trying to the mysteries of Christ and what he went through. You know, there's lots of things that people you can't fit in one little book, you know. You can't fit everything in one little book, you know. It's just a summary of these things. And I think if you're really passionate about Jesus, or you really want to learn with him, then it's like any other degree. Jesus, I would like to learn with you. I'd like you to be my teacher. Yes, let's prepare for at least 4 years. Unless you get bored and you're like, I'm just going to be with another spiritual master or spiritual teacher. But yeah, I don't know. I don't like sharing about it a lot because I do get guidance that, you know, you must just be aware that some people, you know, if you test their their limiting beliefs on who Jesus was, you know, you're gonna get a cock. That's why I think I just built my own stability with them, because I've had a lot of people say, Jesus would look down on you. Yes, I say, you really don't know Jesus. I'm telling you, the most people connected to Jesus probably, I wouldn't say, I don't know, wouldn't need to flaunt him. That's why I think I don't like talking about it. Talking to people that are close to me that I don't feel like going to, like, say this is the way you're supposed to. I say this like this: everyone's relationship with God is their own unique relationship. No one tells you how you're supposed to have a relationship with God. I see it like as in like, if you have a child, no one tells you how you're supposed to like raise your child. No one's allowed to tell you this is how your relationship with God is, because God is a omnipresent and he can be anything. If someone needs a friend, Jesus or God will be a friend. So God plays that part in life for what we need right now. If you need like some tough love, Jesus gonna be tough love for you. He's omnipresent, which means he's like a shapeshifter. He to a person that needs a friend, he will be a friend. To a person that needs someone that, don't know, needs a father, he will be a father. He plays a shape-shifting role. So that's why I get like, I listen to a lot of people who are like, oh, but my relationship is Jesus isn't like that. Well, I was taken back to like when you didn't have Jesus in your life and you had a friend group, and say you had a boyfriend, and he's like, he doesn't kiss me, because he's not your boyfriend. Like everyone has their own different role with him. Everyone has a different role with Jesus. Some people don't like Jesus. It's super chill. It's kind of like, oh, but Jesus didn't talk to me about that, because Jesus doesn't talk to people about the same things. He knows what certain people. Yeah. No, thank you. Jesus doesn't talk to the people in the same way as another. So when I'm very open-minded, when I'm like, oh, I'm listening to what God is telling this person, and I'm like, yes, I say, I'm so lucky that I'm on a relationship with God. Because I think Mars has been in Virgo, Virgo is very healing energy, and it's like, do you have like a healthy relationship with God? I mean, because a lot of people have a relationship with God, everyone has a relationship, but is your relationship healthy with Jesus? Like, and a lot of people, like at the moment, a lot of people are turning to Jesus. I'm not gonna lie. A lot of people are, and I'm sure Jesus like knew you sheep would return. No, I'm joking. I have a very good relationship with Jesus. I mean, sometimes, a lot of people are like, oh, but a healthy relationship, you don't fight. Yeah, hey, me and Jesus get pissed off with each other. A relationship sometimes that is healthy needs sometimes needs, like, if you want a really deep and emotional relationship, it's very surface level, and you like, I just want to be happy. I think that's very unrealistic, and to live an unrealistic relationship where there's no fuss, it's very emotionally shallow. Like, I don't know, I was listening to something online, and they were saying, you might be a person that feels a lot, you might feel a lot of people's pain, you might feel a lot of people, but you're also going to experience like pure emotional intimacy, where you're able to cry with someone, where you're able to laugh with someone, where you're able to be angry with someone and still know that connection is strong. Like sometimes my ancestors say, yes, I say our bond has gotten stronger, and then I'm like, yo, but why is there more tension? Because in the mind there's illusions. We're taught, okay, a healthy relationship is you happy all the time, and that's not the case. That's not the case. You can't live in one emotion. You go from, I always use Mother Gaia and Mother Nature as an example. She has winter, she has her sadness times when she needs to let go. She has her sunny times when she's happy, she has her rainy times when she's sad. If you really in alignment with Jesus is a natural teacher. Let's say he owns the earth or something. Guardian of the earth. And if you look at nature is the most pure example of what natural is, you know. The trees, they lose some leaves, you know. Their core and foundation is stable, but they lose some leaves, so you gotta lose some friends. You know, you gotta lose some thoughts, you gotta lose some emotions that aren't there for you, and then regrow, you know. So I don't know, when I connected with Jesus, he connected to me in nature. And maybe, you know, everybody will have it's like it's everyone will have their own different perspective on him, you know. And yes, like I do feel like I don't like speaking about my relationship with Jesus, because yes, I say people will poke holes in my argument, and that's not how Jesus is. No, that's how Jesus is for you. This is my truth. This is how Jesus and me vibe. Jesus to me is cool, you know. He's like a super chilled friend. He's like a friend to me. And he's like what do we call this, up to date, you know. He knows what we there. But you know, some people are still like, Jesus is an old man. No. Jesus has changed. Jesus, it's like, I would say any relationship where your personality develops in a relationship, you know, where your younger self is no longer like your older self, you know. If I have to look at my younger self, she was just very confident. She was very confident, and now I'm like not so confident. But that doesn't mean that I didn't grow. Didn't mean that I didn't grow. I just found a new way to be confident like that. Maybe I would say, like, if I had to use a practical example, it's like maybe as a child you were really good at dancing, and then you're now really good at singing, you know. It's not, oh, you know, it's bad now, you're not a good dancer anymore. No, it's just now you're better at singing than you are at dancing. You're more confident in your singing abilities than your dancing abilities, you know. So I feel like my confidence is more gentle, like a subtle confidence. I don't need to be so overt about my confidence now. I'm just subtly confident about it, you know. Don't need to prove my confidence anymore, maybe. But anyways, not so